Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final game of the divisional round of the playoffs. It is the Green Bay Packers hosting the Seattle Seahawks for a shot at the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC Championship game. Whichever team wins this will host the 6th seed Vikings, as there is light snow in the forecast for this game in Lambeau. It is expected to be cold, chilly. I don't know if the snow is supposed to carry over into the night. Right now, I think the weather is that it will be lightly snowing towards the beginning of the game, but clear up relatively quickly. But I just decided, you know what? Let's make this the snow game. You never know what could happen with weather. Weather is always a crazy thing. But the Green Bay Packers, 13-3 this year. They had some crazy games and an opportunity to host the NFC Championship game. But think about this. The number 5 seed Seattle, if Minnesota does pull off the upset on the 49ers, they could host the NFC Championship game as the 5 seed. I don't think that's ever been done before. I don't think a 5 and 6 seed have ever played each other in the title game ever. So it would be crazy to see those two teams play each other in the title game. And the kick is off. Seattle kicks the ball to start the game, and the Green Bay Packers will knee it. So we have Aaron Rodgers on his way out onto the field. The Super Bowl champion in his own right. It's quite chilly outside in Lambeau, but if anybody can handle it, it's these Packers, the home team. But the Seahawks are 7-1 at home. The Packers are 7-1 on the road. Or, sorry, vice versa. The Seahawks are 7-1 on the road. The Packers are 7-1 at home. And one of those has to give, you know. Obviously, technically, the Seahawks are 8-1 on the road because they did win their road game against the Eagles last week. There's a short pass play, and blasted. But he does get the first down, and that's the important thing as the Packers line up, rearing and ready to go. Here is the snow trickling down here in Lambeau Field as the Seahawks, they played a good game, but Josh McCown and the Eagles gave him a lot to work with. So it should be interesting to see exactly what the Packers can do here as they line up at the 35-yard line. They hand the ball off to the running back, who makes a guy miss, and he picks up about 9-10 yards. But it'll be 2nd and 1. Packers are favorites by 4 points. A straight 4-point favorites in this one, as both of these teams are very even. We've seen these two teams play multiple times. You guys remember the touch reception that Golden Tate caught in the end zone that was counted as a touchdown. And there's a big loss there for 5 yards by Allison, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 6. Aaron Rodgers, 4,000 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. But Russell Wilson, probably runner-up behind Lamar Jackson for MVP with 4,100 yards passing, 31 touchdowns, and 5 picks. He's been very, very impressive this season. He has almost as many completions as Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers has 53 more attempts. So Aaron Rodgers has attempted 53 more passes and only has 12 more completions than Russell Wilson's 341. So Russell Wilson's been very efficient, not thrown very many touchdowns. He's thrown 5 more touchdowns to Aaron Rodgers and only 1 more interception. He's been very, very impressive this year, and runner-up for MVP, most likely to Lamar Jackson. And that could have been picked off by Bobby Wagner. That was very dangerous. As we look at the Packers offense, we have David Baccarati, probably one of the best players in the entire league at that left tackle position. And really, as an offensive lineman, obviously Quentin Nelson, Zach Martin. There's some guys out there that are also very impressive linemen. Ronnie Stanley as well. 3 Notre Dame players on the first team All-Pro for the offensive line. As now Aaron Rodgers stepping back, handing the ball off on 2nd and 10, makes it almost to the first down marker, and he'll be just shy, a yard shy as Williams gets 9. That's a big play there. 3rd down and only 1 yard to go. The Seahawks defense trying to buckle down. Aaron Rodgers under center, single backfield. They hand the ball off. He gets it past the first down marker to the 20-yard line. Jones has played really well. 1,084 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns, tied for the most touchdowns in the NFL in the regular season rushing the football. Derrick Henry also had 16 rushing touchdowns. So he's been very, very good to get the ball in the end zone pretty often. They've had a very balanced attack, have the Packers. They've been able to get a lot done. That one's going to go potentially for a loss of 1, but maybe about no gain. And there's the Seahawks defense. They've been very, very impressive. Jadeveon Clowney, very, very good. KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner, 2 of the best linebackers in the entire NFL. Shaquille Griffin, Trey Flowers, Quandre Diggs. Such a fantastic defensive secondary. You know, this is probably the best Seahawks defense we've seen since the Legion of Boom broke up in the last 4 years. And it's just, you know, they've been playing very impressive. You know, they played the Eagles very well. They ended the season with a crushing loss against the 49ers and the Cardinals, and the Rams. They lost 3 of their last 4 games of the season, but they came out against Philadelphia. They were able to win by 8 points. They held Philly to only 9. And even when Carson Wentz was in the game, he really didn't do much. 3rd and 11. The problem is they're going against a team that has won a lot of games in a row and is very, very much ready for this game. As 3rd and 11, they run the football with Williams, and he doesn't get to the first down marker. Kind of a safe play there, but the Packers will get pretty much a chip shot field goal, as it's going to be about a 31-yard field goal attempt here for Nathan Crosby. And he's been pretty efficient this season, has Crosby. He's been working it, and now a 31-yard kick. Pretty much a chip shot for Crosby at this point. And it's up, and it's good. 3-0 Packers early, as the opening drive gets them all the way down for 3. And the Packers on the board on their opening possession. And that's going to go up to Seattle now, as the Seattle offense will finally have the ability to get control of the game. Or of the football, really. The first offensive possession. The Packers haven't lost since November, when they lost against the San Francisco 49ers in a brutal beatdown. They lost 37-8. They also lost against the Chargers, which is probably the biggest surprise of the whole season. And they also lost against the Eagles. So their losses this season are not very good, to say the least. And that is a huge return for Lockett. What a huge return, all the way to the Green Bay 37-yard line. Wow, look at the blocking. Absolutely terrific by the Seattle Seahawks. They get the ball all the way to the 37, and the Seahawks could not have asked for a better start to this drive. But the Packers coming off 5 consecutive wins. Only one of those teams, though, was a playoff team, and that was the Minnesota Vikings. As the Vikings had kind of a drought, they lost 3 of their last 5 games of the season, but they've won back-to-back games and will head to either Seattle or Green Bay for the NFC title game. I think if I'm Minnesota, I'd much rather play against Seattle. Green Bay has beat you twice. You have not been able to beat Green Bay this season at all. They've outplayed you. They know your play style. They know how to beat you. Seattle, I feel like you have more of a chance, and that's a strip. Russell Wilson stripped, and the Packers take possession at the 30-yard line. That's a huge, huge play there. As we look at Seattle, their only losses came against New Orleans, Baltimore, Los Angeles, Arizona, and San Fran. So they lost against their entire division in the last 4 games. Divisional games can be rough. And then they also lost to Baltimore and New Orleans. So they won their first 3 divisional games, beating San Francisco, beating Arizona, beating the Rams. And then they lost 2 of those games being at home as well. They lost against Arizona and San Francisco at home. I will say that for Seattle, you know, that fumble there is going to be really, really rough, but it's going to be interesting. Also, there is news that the Rams have fired Wade Phillips, their defensive coordinator, after a very bad season. Oh, and there's a great defensive stop. I believe that's KJ Wright with the tackle behind the line, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 13 with 8.5 to go in the first quarter. But I will say, you know, the Seahawks are such a good team. They've been good for so long. Pete Carroll has been with the team for 10 years, and 8 of those years they've made the playoffs. And they've been really towards the top of the league. Of course, 2 Super Bowl appearances as well for Pete Carroll and the Seahawks, and that was a good defensive stand there as they're going to force Green Bay to punt after the turnover. But Seattle, one of the biggest issues for Seattle has been their current roster. One of the biggest things that has been an issue for them has been running the football. As their running backs just continue to get injured. They're all out for the season. And throughout the regular season, they averaged about 137 yards rushing per game. But how about their defense, as they forced 16 interceptions on defense this season? But their biggest weakness, I think, is the running attack. They've allowed 117 yards per game running the football and 22 touchdown runs. That is quite a bit. They've allowed more rushing touchdowns this season than passing touchdowns, as they've only allowed 19 passing touchdowns, and they've intercepted the ball 16 times. That just goes to show you how good Seattle's defense is. And another great defensive stand for Seattle as they run with Marshawn Lynch for a loss of 1. They have 5 yards of offense. Seattle's offensive units have been pretty good. 31 touchdowns, passing the football, only 6 picks, and there's a big sack there. As they've only been sacked 48 times this season. That's actually a lot of sacks given up by this offensive line, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 12. They only have 15 rushing touchdowns this season. Their rushing attack has just not been what it used to be. They like that triple-headed running attack, and there's Homer in the backfield, throws. He's got a man, and it's his tight end for a first down. That is a big pass there to Hollister for 23 yards and a Seattle first down as Savage comes in to make the tackle for the Packers. What a beautiful throw, and what a well-timed route by the defense, or by the tight end. There's a throw out to the right side, and that is a loss of 2 yards by Tyler Lockett. If we look at the Packers football team, the Packers have been, you know, their losses have not exactly been the most ideal. They have lost against 3 teams that they absolutely should not have lost to by any circumstances and stretch of the imagination. However, they did. That is a fact. And there's Russell Wilson. He goes all the way down the field and inside the 25, 22-yard running play there. But if we look at their rushing defense, they are allowing more rushing yards than they gain per game, and they have 15 rushing touchdowns allowed this season. Their pass defense has been absolutely terrific. They've sacked the quarterback 41 times this season. Or sorry, they've sacked the quarterback 41 times this season, and for Green Bay, you know, their pass defense has greatly improved. You know, they got Adrian Amos, for example. They have some superstar corners. They've really gotten a lot better, as there is the pass to Travis Homer, the rookie out of... Oh, no, that's Hollister. My bad. It's really hard to tell sometimes, especially in the snow, what their numbers are. That is 48. That is very much not 25. My apologies. As they have the running back in the backfield, I believe that is Homer. They've lost a lot of running backs out this season. There's Hollister again. Marshawn Lynch checks into the game. As they go into the shotgun here, they see something they want to change. Russell Wilson steps back. They run the football. Good block. And he picks up a small chunk of yards, about 5. And it would have been a loss of yards if they didn't get that premier block. And Seattle will have 2nd and 5 from the 7. They can get the ball inside the 2 for a first down. Running back backfield, they hand the ball to Homer, the rookie out of Miami, and he gains a yard. Homer's been doing pretty good, you know. Pete Carroll in this offense, you know, they really like this guy, you know, after some of the much better running backs like C.J. Prosise, probably the best running back on the roster, ended up going down with injury. You know, they've really had some trouble. And there, as you can see, getting down to the 1, that'll be a fresh set of downs for Tyler Lockett and the Seahawks. But 3 running backs going down in 2 weeks for the Seahawks, all 3 of them out for the season. And now you've got the running attack of Marshawn Lynch, Travis Homer, and their 3rd running back, which the former Seahawk, who's now a Seahawk again. Gosh, that's going to bug me that I don't know his name off the top of my head. He's a really cool player. I'm such a bad... He hasn't really played yet this season. As he was picked up at the very end. A good defensive stand here. Robert Turbin. There you go. Robert Turbin. They picked up along with Marshawn Lynch to add to the roster. Looks like they very well might blitz, which might leave that guy wide open. I believe that's DK Metcalf, the slot corner, if they do in fact blitz, which they don't. But great play. That was a fantastic hitch route. And DK Metcalf gets in the end zone. And a touchdown. Seattle puts them up 6-3 on the Green Bay Packers. And the rookie wide receiver DK Metcalf gets in the end zone to put Seattle up 7-3 over the Green Bay Packers. So a huge play there. And that is absolutely fantastic for them. As now the Seahawks will kick the ball away. 19 ticks to go off the clock in the first quarter. As Matt LaFleur checking his play sheet here. And his first year as a head coach, 13-3. But being a head coach in Green Bay is always tough. There's so much expectation, so much on the line. And, you know, McCarthy won a Super Bowl, did fantastic as a head coach, and he got let loose because they didn't, you know, go back soon enough. And, you know, LaFleur hasn't really done too much as a coach. He's really let Aaron Rodgers run this offense. And, you know, there's a huge question on whether or not it's really, you know, him being a good coach or Aaron Rodgers, him just being passive and letting Aaron Rodgers do whatever he wants. You know, there's just so many question marks on this team, you know, and Aaron Rodgers reaching the later stages of his career. At this point, you don't know how much time he's got left. I mean, he's probably got a good 3 or 4 years left before he retires, but you know, the way he's been getting injured these last couple seasons, you also have to question his health. You know, whether or not he's going to be able to stay healthy for this Green Bay Packers team, not only through the playoffs, but through next season. But he really wants to get that second Super Bowl under his belt. As the first quarter comes to an end, 7-3, Seattle leads in Green Bay. As expected, this game is back and forth. Very tough football game. And they hand the ball off on the end around, and he's stuffed. Jadeveon Clowney with the tackle at 2 yards in the backfield, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 12. Well, when you got Jadeveon Clowney on Jimmy Graham, I mean, that's a mismatch 100%. And there is a big throw and catch. Wide open to the wideout here is Adams. And Devontae Adams coming through with a big, big catch there for a first down. And the Packers have the ball on their logo at the 47. As the snow slowly trickling down, here comes the pass by Rodgers. Breaking a tackle is Jimmy Graham, and he gets past the first down marker to the 42-yard line. As Aaron Rodgers, 7 for 10 to start the game, and Graham gets his first catch for 11 yards. Trey Flowers with the tackle, and the Green Bay Packers really looking to try and make something happen here on this drive. Down by 4. They need at least a field goal. They hand the ball off to the running back, and he gets swallowed at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. From the 42-yard line, in the shotgun is Aaron Rodgers. Stepping back, has time, looks, he's got a man, and he gets past the first down marker, and another big play from the Packers. The Packers have such a talented team, so many threats, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. They've got so much on this team, and I believe that this offseason, you know, getting guys like Adrian Amos, getting, you know, some secondary players, getting some wideouts, they really made a statement for what they want on this team, and that one was very close to being intercepted as he threw it into the ground here, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. But I will say, you know, this team is greatly improved. The management has taken this team under their belts. You know, Aaron Rodgers, you know, was very upset with how the team has handled this, you know, personnel over the last couple years. And over the offseason, they really made an effort to change that. There's a very good, nice little scamper by Jones for a short gain. That'll bring up 3rd and 7. But I will say, you know, it's been a crazy season, to say the least. You know, a lot of ups and downs, but for the Packers especially, they just seem to lose random games. Like, none of the teams that they lost to were particularly amazing or had any sort of real benefit, as they lost to, again, the Eagles, Chargers, and 49ers. It's not exactly the 49ers are obviously, you know, it's fair, but the way they lost by 29 points, the way they got absolutely obliterated in that game, you know, you got to think if the Packers and 49ers do make it, the 49ers could be double-digit favorites or maybe at least a touchdown. But they dominated the Packers in their first game, and that game, you know, was in San Francisco as well. There's a big incomplete pass, forcing 2nd and 10 as the Seahawks try and get a goal line stand together. As now in the shotgun come Aaron Rodgers, stepping back. Goes for the screenplay, and that was well read by Ezekiel Ansah as he stops Williams for a 5-yard loss, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 15. They also got very lucky against the Chiefs team that didn't have Patrick Mahomes at the very end of that game, being able to pull off the W 31-24. You know, there's just so many question marks on, you know, how good the Packers are really. And there's a big touchdown there as a nice pass to Jimmy Graham will get it in and give the Packers the lead. But I think a lot of people, you know, that's why the Packers have by far the lowest chance to win, giving them only 4-point favorites over the Seattle Seahawks. Is this team is just so full of question marks. They lost to the team the Seahawks beat, the Eagles, at the very beginning of the season. I believe week 4. Week 4, they lost against the Eagles by a touchdown. They won 4 straight games. They got very lucky against the Lions in a close one. They beat the Chiefs by a touchdown without Patrick Mahomes, with their backup quarterback in, before losing in Los Angeles for no reason. Then they got absolutely slaughtered by the 49ers in a brutal beatdown. They slid past the Redskins by only 5 points. They barely beat the Lions on the last week of the season by 3. There's been a lot of question marks on how good the Packers are, and out of all the 1 and 2 seeds, they are by far the weakest team. But again, having that home field advantage, being 13 and 3, they definitely have some, at least the positive, the benefit of being in a situation where they can win this game. They do have home field advantage. That does help. But Russell Wilson hands the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, who runs it for 11, and he gets it to the 46-yard line, 1st and 10, Seattle. But I will say, you know, if you look at this football team, they're 17th in the league in passing, 15th in rushing. You know, they really have. Oh, there's a pass and it's incomplete. They have. They're 15th in points for, with only 19.6 points against. That means that the difference between winning and losing for the Packers this season has been less than 4 points per game. That's how close it's been on average for the Packers this season between winning and losing. And you compare that to the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, you know, they're 4th in rushing yards, and they're 9th in points for, but the points against for Seattle is even closer. Only 0.4. They have 0.4 of a point between points for and points against. That's how close Seattle's been this season with their 5 losses, and it's pretty crazy. But I will say, as we look at Seattle here, they're going to punt the football from the 47-yard line. 8.5 to play in the first half, as there is a deep punt, and it hits the back of the end zone for a touchback. Seattle with a very dynamic offense. There's Aaron Rodgers, 5 incompletions, 109 yards, a touchdown. He's playing very well, as I think we expect. But I will say, if you look at what this team can do, they currently have a lot of question marks on this on the Seahawks team. As there's a fake handoff, he dumps the ball over for about 5 yards on that one, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 5. But both of these teams, the difference between winning and losing is less than 4 points. For the Seahawks, it's less than a single point. It's been that close this season between winning and losing games. Almost every game this season, they beat the Eagles by the exact same score as they did during the regular season. And there is Adams, and he's going to go inside the 10 to the 8. Oh, my God, what a play. That was absolutely incredible. And the Packers could potentially get in the end zone and go up by 10 here in the second quarter, as he beats Trey Flowers and just outruns him the rest of the way, as Quandre Diggs has to make the tackle. Stepping back is Rodgers. Has time. Looking. And he's hit as he throws, and it's almost intercepted. Shaquille Griffin came so close to getting the interception on that play, as Rodgers was hit as he threw it, and that was definitely a pass he did not want to throw, but he ended up doing it anyway. Aaron Rodgers tosses over, finds an open receiver, and he's taken down inside the 5 to the 2-yard line, 3rd and goal. If Seattle can stop him here and force a field goal, that will at least make it a 6-point game, and Seattle can continue to play their offense as usual. But they go down by 10 with a touchdown, and that could be very dangerous. In the shotgun are the Packers, and expecting a run and getting it, the Seahawks. They stop them at the 4, and that's going to bring up 4th and goal and probably force a field goal kick here. So McDougald's on the tackle, and that's a very good play from Seattle. They have been very, very good this season. And now a 21-yard kick. Should be a chip shot in any weather condition. And it is up and good. So 13-7, Packers lead by 6, as they have a 2 field goal advantage over the Seattle Seahawks. With 5:48 to play in the first half, I believe Seattle also gets the ball to start the second half. So Russell Wilson getting ready to go here. He's been absolutely terrific this season. Again, runner-up for MVP behind Lamar Jackson. Got so much talent at that quarterback position. He's really been able to make stuff happen. And it's been pretty impressive. This season, 3 of the 4 teams that were on the road ended up winning, and Buffalo came dangerously close. It's been a very, very, very close playoff. No score has been more than 8 points, so more than a 1-score game, as we have 6, 7, 8, and 3-point games between our 4 playoff games. As right now, the Seattle Seahawks will gain the possession of the football at the 25. They only have 89 yards of offense. They really need to start getting something going here. As Russell Wilson steps back, looking, toss over to Lockett, who gets it past the first down marker, and that'll be a new set of downs for Seattle. 5.5 to play in the first half. Plenty of time for Seattle to just run their offense as usual, but they definitely want at least a field goal, as they do get the ball back in the second half, but a field goal would be very, very helpful to get at the very least, if not, of course, get in the end zone. But that's the ideal end to every drive, is getting in the end zone. Thrown, and a nice tip there by the Packers. They sent quite a few people on the blitz on that play. As a solid play there. Seattle has possession in the shotgun. Marshawn Lynch back there, ready. Stepping back, throws, and he's got a man, and it's caught by the tight end. As Lewis gets it, a nice, or swoops, my bad. I don't know why I said Lewis. Swoops gets the catch, and he gets it to the 48-yard line as Marshawn Lynch once again in the game. Stepping back, throwing, and tipped and almost intercepted as Martinez makes a good play on the ball, and that could have been very dangerous for Seattle, and that brings up another 2nd down and 10. I formation, ready for the Seattle Seahawks. And they hand the ball off to Lynch, who is tackled after about 4 yards. 3rd and 7. I'll count it as 3. Zadarius Smith with the tackle, the former Baltimore Raven. I'm sure he would love to play his former team in the Super Bowl. In our Madden simulation, unfortunately, he won't, but in real life, perhaps. Dropping back, a nice pitch and catch there to the wide out, and Russell Wilson gets it right where it needs to be to Moore, and that's a 14-yard grab with about 3.5 to play in the first half. As that you couldn't have put that in much better position. As now a single backfield, Marshawn Lynch. Russell Wilson steps back. Has time, throws to Lynch, who takes it in for no gain. And a 2nd and 10. Single backfield once again is Lynch. And there's the handoff, and this one's red. About 2 yards gained, though. 3rd and 8. Zadarius Smith makes the tackle there, and Seattle might stall out a little bit here. But about 2.5 to play in the first half. A first down would be very, very nice on this play because it would run the clock down to the 2-minute warning, and then they could at least try and run the clock out so the Packers don't have a shot. And there's Russell Wilson, and he's going to take off inside the 20 to the 18, and that's a 2-minute warning, 13-7 Packers lead. But Seattle's inside the red zone at the 18-yard line. An amazing run there by Russell Wilson, and that's going to give him a fresh set of downs to work with inside the 2-minute warning. And that's exactly the ideal situation for Seattle. If you can get the touchdown and go up by a point, and then on top of that, you get the ball back to start the second half, that is an absolute win-win situation for Seattle. And there's another running play for Russell Wilson as he goes to the outside, inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. 1st and goal for Seattle. Another big run, and Russell Wilson, he might be in the zone. He very well might be in the zone. As back-to-back huge scrambles by Russell Wilson gets him a big chunk of yards. In the shotgun, Russell Wilson stepping back. Has time, looks, finds an open target. It's Lockett, and he fumbles the football. Oh, no, they count it as not catching it. It looked like, well, if he had possession, that would be a touchdown regardless. So they'll count it as an incomplete pass, and they'll have 2nd and goal from the 7. I don't know. It kind of looked like he had possession for a moment, and they knocked the ball free after he had possession of the football. But that would be a touchdown, and no review there, so Seattle will take it, and that one to the same guy on what looked like a very similar route that he ran last time. And now 1 point separate these two teams if Seattle does in fact get the extra point here as Tyler Lockett makes it into the end zone. And here comes Seattle. And the ball is up and through the uprights. So Seattle has a 1-point lead. Green Bay does have 3 timeouts with 1:24 and the best Hail Mary passer in the history of the NFL on their team. So that could be a very big point of emphasis for the Green Bay Packers as they come out to return this kick. If they can just get in a position where they can make a statement, get the ball to about midfield, they could potentially throw that football down the field deep for a potential Hail Mary, and you know how good Aaron Rodgers is at doing that. But regardless, Seattle will get the ball to start the second half, and they're currently up by 1, pending a 1-minute-and-24-second drive by the Green Bay Packers. As the Packers will return the kick. Oh no, he muffed it. And they will have awful field position to start the drive. Wow. That was absolutely horrendous. They start at the 15. They're going to need Aaron Rodgers to come up with something because 1:20 to go. That really could have been a lot worse, but luckily they do recover their own fumble and they try and pick up at least a couple more yards. They get to the 15. Tossing it over to the right side to the 21-yard line. And the Packers, it doesn't look like the Packers are going to go deep here. I think they're just going to run their offense as usual. They might call a timeout. Yep. At 1 minute and 1 second because that's, I guess, how the CPU works. But they call it at exactly 1 minute and 1 second. We've seen that a few times. But the Green Bay Packers with 1 minute 1 second, they have 2nd down and 4 from their own 21-yard line. They gained 6 on the last play, which isn't bad. Aaron Rodgers in the shotgun. Steps back. Throws. And he caught it. They'll call timeout. He got out of bounds on that play, though. But that counts as a 1st and 10. I'm not exactly sure what the timeout gets you, considering he did go out of bounds, so that does stop the clock at this point in the game. But they called timeout regardless, so that's a not exactly the best clock management there. Aaron Rodgers going, almost caught, but almost intercepted off the bounce by Bobby Wagner. And that's going to leave 53 ticks to go off the clock here in the first half. As single backfield come the Packers. Stepping back, fakes the handoff, throws. He's got a man to the 47. No huddle here. 30 seconds to go. Aaron Rodgers. He has the ball in a pretty good position here. He tosses over to his check down guy. And a timeout with 21 seconds to go. And you got to think they have maybe, considering how this game works, about one more pass play down the field. If they stay in bounds, they get tackled in bounds, then they pretty much guarantee to not get the touchdown, as they have 4 wide receivers in empty. Throwing it deep. And he overthrows his target, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 9 with 18 seconds on the clock. They have the ball in a good spot. This is where I said they need to get to around midfield to get that Hail Mary distance for Aaron Rodgers. And it looks like they're in the same formation that they were in last play. Stepping back is Rodgers. Throws. Got a man. And he's tackled inbounds with 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End of the first half. So as great of a play as that was, it's halftime. 14-13, Packers kick to Seattle. They weren't able to get in and spike the ball in 10 seconds, and now there's a bunch of Packers on the field. Duplicate Packers, maybe even. As that is extremely weird that there's a bunch of Packers just kind of thrown on the field in the middle of the field, but it'll go away in a second, and there it is. So the Packers ready to kick off, and they kick it to Seattle, who has a 1-point advantage in this game. Taking it from deep in their own territory, gets it to the 27-yard line, and Seattle, Tyler Lockett, Russell Wilson, the Seattle football team, there's been pretty good in this game. They've held their own. It's a 1-point lead. They take that as road underdogs in this game against the Green Bay Packers. And you know how crazy it would be to host a playoff game as the 5 seed. You never would think that that would happen. Tosses it over. That is Homer, the rookie running back out of Miami, who catches that one for a short gain. As Travis Homer has now 14 yards receiving on the day so far. Russell Wilson in the shotgun. Single backfield. 2nd and 3. They fake the handoff. Homer gets a good block, and they throw it to the tight end, and it's a 1st down and 10. That was a really good block by the running back, or that could have been a very dangerous situation for Russell Wilson as they sent the blitz on that play, the delayed blitz, and it worked out really well. However, a great block saved the Seahawks. And speaking of blitz, they did it again, and Adams gets there this time. A loss of 7. The Packers have 3 sacks. Seattle has none. It's been a game for sure. Shotgun, single backfield. Stepping back, Russell Wilson throws it to his receiver. He caught it, and it's down at the 41, 1st and 10. A big play to the tight end. That puts Hollister at 66 yards on 5 catches. And Seattle has a fresh set of downs inside Green Bay territory, and they are driving. Seattle, single backfield. Russell Wilson throws, finds his receiver over the middle, and he gets it 1st down. And another big play there as Wilson takes it to the 24 for a 1st down and 17-yard pickup. And as Adrian Amos, the former Bear, now turned Packer, makes the tackle there. Single shotgun. Russell Wilson goes, he throws it, and he's got a man. And that's a... My apologies. My phone likes to talk sometimes. But regardless, that is going to bring up 2nd down and 8 from the 22-yard line. I formation now for Seattle. They hand the ball off. They pick up the blitz pretty well, and they get it to about the 18-yard line for 4, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 4. Burks comes in on the tackle, and this game is going down to the wire. I like how these last 2 games, the Chiefs game, I mean, ended up being not so good, but throughout the first 3 quarters, it was pretty close. Stepping back is Wilson. Throws. Got a man. Lockett. 1st down. There's a penalty on the field, and that'll be an extra half the distance to the goal. And that'll put him down at the 7. As the half the distance to the goal penalty We'll give them a 1st and goal at the 7. That's a huge, huge penalty on Green Bay. Now, a touchdown here doesn't put the game out of reach by any stretch of the imagination. But an 8-point game would at least force them to have to go for 2 if they score a touchdown. And there's the run play by Seattle as Homer picks it up to the 5, and that's going to bring up 2nd and goal. 5 yards out of the end zone are the Sea Chickens. I formation. They hand the ball off. No, they fake it, and they get it wide open. Target, touchdown, Tyler Lockett. He has been playing terrific in this game, and Seattle gets their 3rd touchdown on the board. And pending the extra point, an 8-point lead over the Green Bay Packers in this one. That's a big touchdown to Tyler Lockett, and with this extra point, it'll be an 8-point game. 21-13. Seattle leads it. 9:51 to play in the 3rd quarter. Still plenty of time. Almost 25 minutes. Almost 25 minutes to play on the clock. 9 seconds less than 25 minutes. As Aaron Rodgers down by still 1 score. They need to get in the end zone and then score a 2-point conversion, but it's entirely reasonable to be able to do that, that's for sure. Now, Seattle won their game against Philadelphia by 8 points. Be very interesting if this lead could hold up. But the winner of this game playing against the Minnesota Vikings, the Vikings did play against Seattle, and Seattle won that game by 7 at home. And if Seattle played against the Vikings again, they would be at home. That game ended up 37-30. However, the Packers 2-0 against the Vikings. So really the Vikings, I mean, they had a better chance against Seattle. They only lost by a touchdown. The Packers kind of dominated the Vikings in their last game of the regular season, and playing in Lambeau would just be rough. So I think if you're the Vikings and you win against the 49ers, the team you want to play is 100% Seattle. Though either way, you're looking at an uphill battle as you've already lost to both of these teams that combined 3 times this season. And if the 49ers win, I think the 49ers probably want to play Green Bay. They dominated Green Bay earlier this season. There's a strip, and it's recovered by Seattle. Reed with the recovery and a huge fumble by Green Bay. What a brutal hit by Bobby Wagner. And I mean, this guy is just everywhere. Bobby Wagner can do just about anything on defense, and that hit just knocking the ball free gives Seattle a nice 1st down and 10 to work with. But again, if you're the 49ers, you probably want to play Green Bay. You've played 2 incredibly close games. And there's an interception. It hits him in the face, and he's able to grab it as Preston Smith gets the interception, and the Packers get the ball right back. So, net 0. As they have the ball at the 28-yard line, and they'll get a fresh set of downs to work with, I suppose. That'll be nice for them. But the 49ers have played Seattle twice. Both of those games have been incredibly close, as they lost in overtime at home against Seattle, and then they won on the very last play of the game, basically, against Seattle in Seattle. So playing again as the home team, that would be a very scary matchup. Seattle's just a very good football team and a good matchup for the 49ers. Very, very close. Meanwhile, the Packers got absolutely dominated in their last meeting, and then playing at home against Green Bay, I feel like you have your best chance to win. So I feel like the 49ers, if they win this game, they would 100% root for the Packers to win, and vice versa. I think the Vikings would much rather play Seattle. I think they feel like they have a better chance against the Seattle Seahawks than the Packers, especially after being pretty dominated in that game, in those games with Green Bay. There's a big pass downfield, and it's almost intercepted. I believe that's McDougald who almost came down with that one, and that's going to bring up 4th and 13 and a punting down for the Green Bay Packers, down 8. I think if you look at vice versa, if you're the Tennessee Titans, I think that you may want to play against the Houston Texans. I feel like that one's kind of obvious. I feel like I feel like at that point, Tennessee would much rather play Houston. Baltimore would most likely want to play Houston as well. They dominated Houston earlier in the season. I feel like the winner of that game wants Houston to win. And then I feel like if you're on the flip side, if you're the Houston Texans, I think you want Tennessee to win, and I feel like the Chiefs want Tennessee to win as well. I mean, I think that's just how that situation goes. The NFC is a lot more complex. I think there's just so much more cross-contamination with these wins and stuff, but the Vikings combined 0-3 versus these two teams. I think they would prefer neither of these two teams win. In fact, I think the Vikings would hope this game goes into triple overtime, wears both of these teams out so that their fatigue carries over to next week. I'm feeling like that's what Minnesota wants to have happen. If you're Green Bay, you 100. I think again, Green Bay wants to play Minnesota. The Seattle wants to play the 49ers. Out of those two, maybe Seattle wants to play the Vikings because they would be able to play at home. So maybe both of these teams would want to play Minnesota, I think. But 100%, if the Vikings are already in it, I think the Vikings would definitely root for Seattle to be the team to fight them, to fight them in the playoffs. I feel like they just have much better chances. They make it to about the 49-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and 7 with 7:14 to go. Zadarius Smith gets credit for the tackle, though Marshawn Lynch kind of tripped and fell all over himself. As 7 minutes in the third. We still have the fourth quarter, but Seattle getting a touchdown here could be monumental, as we haven't seen much of a comeback, at least to that extent, in the playoffs. I guess in real life, the Bills game, but it would be a pretty substantial lead for Green Bay to have to come back from, and Seattle's no pushover. They're a very solid football team. They've got a lot of promise, a lot of talent on that team. They toss it to Lockett, takes it to the 37 for a loss of 1. Or a gain of 1. My apologies. About 6 minutes to tick off the clock. Seattle's been playing very, very well in this game. Their defense has been extremely solid. Not a lot of negative things to say about that. There's a good tackle there. I believe that's Zadarius Smith again. It is. That's his 4th tackle of the game on Marshawn Lynch this time. 3rd and 12. As the Go Pack Go chants start on 3rd and 12. They really need this this defensive stop to force a punt. Looking, they have a guy, and he gets 7. So they'll probably kick a field goal here, I feel like. Hollister, 4th and 5 from the 33. That would be a 50-yard field goal in the snow. So it's not anywhere close to a chip shot. And they are going to kick a 50-yard field goal in the snow. Here comes the kick. It's up. And he made it. So 11 points, double-digit lead now, as Myers puts it through from 50. That is not an easy kick in the snow from 50 yards away, and he knocks it through as LaFleur and Green Bay now down 2 possessions here. It's going to be an incredibly difficult comeback against such a disciplined and talented Seattle defense. They've been playing well all game, held Rodgers and the Packers to 13 points. It's been very, very close between these two teams. As now Myers ready to kick the ball away. And it's fielded in the end zone for a touchback. So I think the wind is blowing in favor of Seattle in this quarter. So Green Bay will have the wind, I believe, in the fourth quarter. That'll be very good. But Davante Adams, 147 receiving yards on 4 catches. A couple of big plays. But 13 points to show for it. Down by 11. So this is not exactly what they want for sure. But here comes Aaron Rodgers. 1 yard between these two teams in favor of Green Bay. There's the fake. Check down. Breaks a tackle. Gets about 8. And that'll bring up 2nd and 2. Pretty good field position. Here we go. Green Bay, shotgun, 2nd and 2. They need to score at least points on this drive. They hand the ball off, and he is just stuffed. Bobby Wagner with the tackle. A yard gained. 3rd and 1. All right. Aaron Rodgers has a yard to gain in order to try and make this up. Single backfield. There's a little bit of a comfortable, cushion, and that was enough. There was about 10 yards distance between the corners and the receivers, and that allowed the inside post route to get open quickly. And Aaron Rodgers fits it into the cushion, as you can see, like zone coverage, and then on top of that, a cushion by the corners. They give him much less of a cushion on this play. As Adams scooches closer to the line, they throw to Adams, who catches it, and he gains a few here. 2nd and 6 from the 46-yard line. That puts him over 150 receiving yards, but they're losing in this game. I feel like almost any time Davante Adams could get 150 yards receiving, they'd be winning the game, but no, they are still down in this football game. They throw it to the outside, and it's incomplete. Off the hands of his receiver, who was wide open. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 6. That was a perfect chance, a perfect opportunity for this offense to get something going. He was open. They weren't expecting it, and he just drops the pass. Aaron Rodgers has to be clearly upset. Stepping back and empty. They blitz, and Jimmy Graham gets past the yard marker down to the 45, and that's a 1st down. His 5th catch of the game for 63 total yards. A fresh set of downs for Green Bay, and they really needed that one as they clock under 2 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. Single backfield once again for Green Bay. Stepping back, has an opportunity. Looking. Deep pass. He's got a man, and it's gone. Touchdown, Green Bay. And the big play ability as Lazard gets into the end zone, and that's going to make it a 1-score game. They are 1 point away from making this 4 points difference between these two teams, and that is a huge play. No, they're just going to go for 2 to try and make it a 3-point game, and can you blame them? Absolutely not. Here comes Rodgers looking. He throws, and he's got a man. It's Adams. 2-point conversion's good. 3-point game. And a field goal separates the Packers and the Seahawks with 1:28 to go in the 3rd quarter. What a huge game. This game is absolutely massive. And just so well timed was the pass, as apparently they just like the panoramic screenshot like we do in the movies with that one. As here comes Tyler Lockett back ready to return the kick as LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers are 3 points away from hosting the Vikings. Well, from a tie. 4 points away from hosting the Vikings. But they need to stop Seattle from scoring points, and then they need to get at least 3 on the board to tie this one up. Only 7 incompletions from Russell Wilson today, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. That was right after a strip by the Seattle defense, so it ultimately netted 0, but it would have really helped Seattle put this game away and out of reach, but they weren't able to do it. They were in such good field position as well. I formation for Seattle. They hand the ball off to Lynch, who busts it up the middle for almost 15. And that's a 1st and 10 as he goes up to 47 rushing yards on the day. And there, of course, is Marshawn Lynch, the veteran of the game, the longtime Seahawk. Beast mode himself, and they pitch the ball out here, and he takes it for a yard or so. No, they'll count it as none. 2nd and 10. As Russell Wilson and the Seahawks line up in the huddle here. They have Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. In the I formation. They have a little bit of a cushion on their wideouts. Throws. Got a man, and he's got it. 1st down. He got both feet down and maintained possession of the catch as DK Metcalf gets his 3rd catch of the game. That could be the last play of the 3rd quarter. We shall see. As the clock ticks to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and indeed we will go to the 4th quarter. A 3-point game, the closest game of the divisional round for us so far. Look at those stats. What a game this has been. It has been so incredible to watch. And now we will have an opportunity to see the grand finale. The 4th quarter, 3-point Seahawks lead. They have the ball in Green Bay territory at the 44-yard line. A touchdown here could really put the pressure on Green Bay, but of course the game wouldn't be quite so over at that quickly. Russell Wilson's foot is on the 50-yard line. He steps back, looking, finds a receiver, and he's got it to the 35. That'll be a yard or 2 shy of the 1st down marker for Seattle, and that'll bring up 2nd down. Very big opportunity here for Russell Wilson and the Seahawks as Travis Homer checks into the game. Number 25, the rookie out of Miami, at running back. So many running back injuries this season, but they've been able to continue to run the ball effectively. But Russell Wilson himself, Marshawn Lynch, Homer's not been too effective in this game so far, but they've been able to run the ball at least to some extent as they have a 1st and 10. The rookie in the backfield. And there is Wilson, and he overthrows his tight end. That could have been a big play, but he misses him. And that's going to bring up 2nd down and 10. Seattle 3 points in the lead here. A field goal would be big, but they would definitely want a touchdown. 2nd and 10, empty formation for Seattle inside the 30. They get the ball, and that's Travis Homer, the running back, with the catch. That's his 3rd catch of the game for only about 19 yards. Nothing too incredible, less than 7 yards per catch. 3rd and 5. The stadium trying to get a little loud. Stepping back is Wilson. Gets the ball out, and Homer steps out of bounds too early. 4th and 2. And I believe that is going to set up a field goal kick for Seattle. against the wind, by the way. They do not have the wind. This one will be a 36-yard kick. And he made it. 27-21. Myers puts it through the uprights, and just like that, with 13 minutes to go, Seattle has a 6-point lead. Green Bay will get the ball. A touchdown gives them the lead if they can get the extra point, of course. But the wind is at their back, so that could benefit Green Bay in terms of kicking extra points. So there's a little bit of snow on the ground here. And Jason Myers kicks the ball off deep. And he takes it at the 6. And taken down at about the 31-yard line. So not a bad return there. And here comes Aaron Rodgers onto the field. He's had a number of game-winning drives in his career, but there's still 13 minutes to go. So even if they do score, Seattle will have an opportunity to respond. Time is going to be a big factor in this. You know, you don't want to score too early and give your opponent too much time to come back and score a touchdown. But you want to score points. You want to put something on the board. You don't want to go 3 and out. You don't want to put the pressure on yourself. Aaron Rodgers steps back, looking, has a receiver. That's his tight end open. He gains about a yard, 3 yards. 2nd and 7. And that is going to bring up a 2nd and 7 there, as not a bad play there for Jimmy Graham and the Green Bay Packers. Is now in the shotgun come the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers has a single back with him in the shotgun. Stepping back, and he gets smacked, but he does get the ball away, and it is complete to the 44-yard line. He got the ball out of there just in time as he got hit. And a big play to Allison as Shaquem Griffin makes the tackle. And Trey Flowers, Shaquem Griffin made the tackle, I believe. In the shotgun, fakes the handoff. Ezekiel Ansah came close, but Davante Adams with the catch to the 41. And Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are driving. This is exactly not what you want to see from Seattle, or for Seattle, as they've allowed 166 yards receiving for Davante Adams. He has definitely been a pivotal part of this team, and now they are only 6 points away, and he'll have to continue to produce. Looking, Rodgers has time. He's going to run with it. And, man, he got hit by Bobby Wagner. That was rough, but he gets 15 yards, not injured, no strip. And what a nice little run there for Aaron Rodgers as he decides to tuck it and run. And there's a nice little handoff, and oh man, Bobby Wagner with the hit, but it's recovered by Green Bay, and that'll be ultimately a gain of 9 yards. Bobby Wagner is just a force to be reckoned with. As you see the hit here, very, very fortunate that their offensive lineman was able to recover that. Now an empty, throws over to Davante Adams, who catches it for a first down inside the 15-yard line. That puts Aaron Rodgers over 350 passing yards in this game. And that puts Davante Adams with about almost half of those. Almost. Aaron Rodgers in the shotgun, looking, has time. Throws over, and he's got a man, but he gets about 2 yards there. 2nd and 8. Seattle's defense needs to stop them from getting inside the 2 for a first down, and needs them not to get in the end zone to at least keep this lead, as 9 minutes remain in the game. Less than that now. Single back with Aaron Rodgers in the shotgun. Stepping back. It's Rodgers. Throws. And he's got a man, but the hit jars it loose, and Jimmy Graham wasn't able to complete the catch, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 8. Got to be frustrating to miss those passes in the end zone because that is exactly the right play there. I mean, he had him open, and he just dropped it. The hit jarred it loose, and a good play by Seattle's defense. Throws it to his receiver, who gets it, touchdown. And Jimmy Graham got another opportunity to get in the end zone. And that ties the game pending the extra point to take the lead. 8:34, though, still remain in the fourth quarter. And Seattle's offense is a little bit warm at the moment. And there's the kick. It's up. And it's good. Green Bay leads it 28-27. 8:34 to go, fourth quarter. This is a big game for Green Bay. They have the lead now in this game. That's massive. 8:34 to go. The Packers look to kick off as Mason Crosby sets the ball on the tee here for the final game of the divisional round to see who will play against the Minnesota Vikings. Or whoever, or potentially the 49ers in real life. In our simulation, though, it says the Vikings will win that game. And the ball is taken at the back of the end zone. So again, the Seattle Seahawks are against the win, so they're going to need to get a little bit closer than they would otherwise to kick a field goal here. But if you're Seattle, you have plenty of time to run your offense. You don't need to hurry at all, but you need to make sure you execute effectively. That's going to be the key. You allow too much time left on the clock, and that's not going to be good for you either. Aaron Rodgers can pick you apart in the most brutal way. I formation here. Stepping back is Wilson. Throws it. Got a man. And he's knocked out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. A big pitch and catch there as DK Metcalf gets his 4th catch of the game and a first down for Seattle. A big play for Seattle as they are able to get the ball past the 35. Single backfield here in the shotgun, though, for Seattle this time around. And they're going to throw again. Throws, got a man, the Lockett, and he gains about 4 yards there, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 6. Hey, but you have the inside leverage on the corner, and that can work. You can actually make that play the vast majority of the time. Single backfield is Marshawn Lynch. Here comes Russell Wilson. Stepping back, has time, throws, and he overthrows his target. I'm not sure if maybe that was the wrong route or what that might be, but regardless, a huge mistake is going to bring up 3rd and 6. He had a man open, and if that guy ran the route as a post-out route towards the sideline, that could have been a huge first down. Passing it to Homer, and he's stuffed. 2 yards. 4th down. And Seattle might have to punt here. Even if Green Bay scores a touchdown, it'll still be an 8-point game. They can still tie it up, but gotta be disappointing as you got all the way to the 44-yard line, and here comes the punt. Trying to pin Green Bay deep in their own territory. Gets it. It bounces at the 7, and it bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Devontae Adams, 147 yards in the first half, only 24 cents. But he has been an absolute threat to Seattle's defense throughout this game. And you got to know where he is at all times, where he's lining up, what he's doing, that's for sure. as Aaron Rodgers lines up under center. Single backfield. Down at the 20-yard line. Sets up, they hand the ball off there, and he picks up about 7 yards, so a good play there, and the clock will continue to run, and that's going to be the most effective thing if you're Green Bay. You want the clock to run down, and you want to gain yardage doing it. And if you can if you can at least have the football for the rest of the game, then you win. Shotgun, Aaron Rodgers hands the ball off to the running back, and a big hit by Bobby Wagner, but it's not enough to stop him short as he will get the first down. Bobby Wagner's 5th tackle of the game, and for Green Bay, that's a big first down as that puts it under 6 minutes to go. Whatever you do, you don't want to turn the ball over. No fumbles, no interceptions. Whatever you do, keep possession of the football, and you can have control. A big pass there. Wide open is Jimmy Graham to the other side of the 50. And that's going to give them the ball inside Seattle territory. And the Packers have come to play in the second half because they are a completely different team than they were in the first. I mean, it was very, very close at halftime. Both of these teams, it was, 14-13 at halftime. And both of these teams have really come alive, but the Packers more so, I think. And there's a pass to Davante Adams, who gets it up to the 33, and that'll count as a 14-yard run play as it was behind the line of scrimmage. A backwards pass. As now they will have the ball with 5 minutes to go inside the 35. Aaron Rodgers steps back looking to pass, throws. He's got Davante Adams. And another catch that puts Aaron Rodgers over 400 yards passing in this game. And Seattle is in a very difficult position as Aaron Rodgers looks hot here at the end of this game. About 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They hand the ball off on the end around, and they can't really get much going as they get about a yard there, and that's going to bring up 2nd down and 9. The Green Bay Packers. A field goal here will at least force them to make a touchdown, but if not, you can always get in the end zone for an 8-point lead. Handing the ball off to the running back, and there's another hit by Bobby Wagner. This time, no fumble once again. 3rd and 6. Shotgun, single back. Looking. Aaron Rodgers has time. He throws deep, and he misses his target. He was open. That was a touchdown, but he just overthrew him just a little too far on that play. And that is going to bring up a 4th down and 6, and they're going to have to kick the field goal with 2:48 to go. That's going to give Seattle the football. 3 timeouts. And it's good. 4 points. Seattle has to get in the end zone to win it. Man, this game has come down to the wire. 4-point game. Green Bay has a major opportunity here in this one. Well, here we go. Mason Crosby lining up to kick this one away to Tyler Lockett. Seattle wasn't able to do much on their last possession. They have to score here or the game is over. .245, that's plenty of time. 3 timeouts. They got about a play or two before the end of the first half. Russell Wilson has 9 incompletions, 3 touchdowns, 248 yards passing, and he's going to have to be the one to do it. How good is our runner-up for the MVP a big-time powerhouse candidate as a top-tier offensive player. In the shotgun, here comes Russell Wilson. Steps back, looking, doesn't have a lot of time, passes it over complete to about the 32-yard line, bringing up 2nd and 3. The time will tick down. They'll get about one more play. Technically, they could hold it until the 2-minute warning, but I don't think you want to do that when you're down by 4 points. Clock ticks down, 2:14. The last play before the 2-minute warning. Stepping back is Wilson, throws, got a man. It's his tight end. He's got space inside the 50 to the 49. And he's out of bounds with 2:04 to go in the fourth quarter. That's a big pass play to Hollister. Hollister, the tight end, over 100 yards receiving in this game for Seattle. Russell Wilson has another play before the 2-minute warning. Steps back. Has time, looking. Finds an open receiver. It's Metcalf. And that's going to be the 2-minute warning inside the 35-yard line. Seattle driving. 2 minutes to go in this game. This is absolutely huge. That's the Seattle Seahawks set up in the shotgun. 2 minutes to go. Plenty of time. They have to score a touchdown. They hand the ball off to Homer, who gets it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Homer's third attempt for 8 yards. Preston Smith was there to stop him. As the clock ticks under 1 minute and 40 seconds, no huddle for this offense. They got a good cushion on the outside in their slot receiver, and they pass it to the further out wide out, and they get the first down, and that puts them under 1.5 minutes as more 43rd receiving yard in this game. 1:20, 1:19. Clock continues to run here. No huddle. Shotgun. Opportunity here. Russell Wilson looks, throws it to his wide out, or his running back, and that's Homer, who breaks a tackle but out of bounds, and that's going to lose 2. No need for a timeout as they do get out of bounds to stop the clock with 1 minute and 7 seconds on 2nd and 12. This game is down to the absolute wire, and thank you guys so much for coming out to it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. As they hand it off to Homer on 2nd and 12, a very bad decision. Under 1 minute to go in this one. Why would you hand the ball off in that situation? There's no need. They got absolutely demolished here. All right, 45 seconds. They need 14. Russell Wilson looking, has time. He runs to the outside. And he slides to the 23, and that's going to bring up 4th and 10, and they're going to have to go for it here with 30 seconds to go. This is the game on the line here. 4th down and 10. 22 seconds. Single backfield. Looking. They hand the ball off. And that's the game. And the Packers win. Well, that was kind of a letdown. Not going to lie. Wow. They handed the ball off on 4th and 10 to lose the game. You got to wonder if the AI just... I want to see something better than that. Maybe Madden 21. We'll get actual AI that do stuff and don't make stupid decisions like that. But that's the game, guys. That looks like the Green Bay Packers have won against the Seattle Seahawks. And will advance to play the Minnesota Vikings in at least our playoff simulation. So make sure you guys hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see when the playoffs are over. You know, what do you guys want to see out of this channel that we can do here? That's a 15-yarder that is completely unnecessary. But we are currently trying to figure out, you know, what exactly we can do to give you guys some cool and interesting content from Madden to watch, challenge modes, potentially an all-time team tournament. What exactly do you guys want to see out of this channel? That's the real question here at this point, as Green Bay is going to take a knee. Seattle's going to call a couple timeouts, and then the game will end. But thank you guys so much for coming out for this. This game went right down to the wire. Unfortunately, the ending was a little bit bittersweet, as it ended with a 4th down and 10 draw play up the middle, and I have to wonder if Freddie Kitchens is actually under Pete Carroll's disguise there as the actual head coach for the Seahawks, because that was a god-awful 4th down play that made absolutely no sense. You hand it off to the rookie who has only 8 yards rushing the whole game, and you think that he's going to be able to pick up 10 on that play? I have no idea what they were thinking. There was just, the AI chose a really bad play, and that's just how it goes. But regardless, I think this game is going to be very, very interesting, a very, very tough game, and I feel like this game very well could go down in this sort of way, with the Seahawks coming up short in a very close game. But thank you guys for coming out. This is how the game ends, how the divisional round ends for us in our simulation. The Packers hosting the Vikings and the Chiefs hosting the Titans. Those are our victors in the divisional round, at least according to Madden. We'll have to see what actually happens in real life. Thank you guys so much. Let me know in the comment section what you guys want to see more simulations of. Do you guys want to see, an all-time team tournament? Do you guys want to see, a 0 overall team, trying to bring them to the Super Bowl without playing any games, just watching them? What exactly can we do to help continue to put out some really great content for you guys? I would like to know what you guys want to watch. But thank you guys so much, and that is going to do it for the divisional round. We will be back next week with the conference championship games on Thursday and Friday of next week. We will post those games here on the channel, so make sure you are subscribed, because that is going to be very, very awesome. And we'll see you all in the next game.